Mabson at this point. Let me go over to the correlation coefficient, and we'll see if we see a debris a hole or a debris ball opening up there on that debris tracker. Certainly a possibility of that occurring. This is really coming together quickly. When we got on the air just a few, I guess it's been 6-7 minutes ago now, it was just a straight line wind event. So in that short window, it has transitioned to a potential tornado setup. We don't have Doppler radar confirmation of this yet, but that is an awfully strong looking pocket of rotation. So there's Mabson, there's North County Road 20, and that will pass probably just north of Mabson, and some of the other roads here, County Road 344, County Road 33, all of this here is in Dale County. So a pocket of very strong rotation showing up here on Doppler radar. That cell is racing to the east, so it's within this batch of heavy rainfall is where we have that pocket of rotation. And of course, it's dark outside. It's not a cell that you can go out there and see. You want to be someplace safe, the lowest level of the structure that you are in, if you are anywhere in Dale County or into Henry County, because this storm is moving eastward and will move into Henry County. So a very well-defined pocket here of rotation showing up between Ozark and Echo in Dale County. So heads up in this area, and boy, looking at that really come together. Let me go back just a few scans here to give you an idea of how this has organized from what was a straight line wind event in Ozark all of a sudden to a pocket of very strong rotation. And again, the ingredients are coming together here early this morning with the warm and humid air in place and the pocket of strong winds in the atmosphere going over that warm and humid atmosphere. So this is a developing storm. Let's go back over that correlation coefficient, the debris tracker, and there's some debris now showing up. So we have a Doppler radar confirmed tornado with this cell in Dale County, just to the northeast of Mabson, just to the northwest of the radar site in Echo. So a very good view. That is debris showing up in the atmosphere. A pocket of debris here moving off to the east-northeast. That will pass just north of the radar site in Dale County. So a Doppler radar confirmed tornado here at 1:43 in the morning. Very strong outbound winds, very strong inbound winds with this cell, and it is moving at a good clip. And we don't have non-stop live data coming in. We get a scan about every minute or 2 minutes, so factor that in. The motion here is off to the east-northeast. That puts the center of this tornado somewhere in here at this point, passing just northwest of Echo in Dale County. A Doppler radar confirmed tornado with this cell. We can confirm it by looking at the debris tracker, and that hole that you see is debris. The radar can pick up raindrops. All the raindrops look the same. All of a sudden, the radar sees something else in the atmosphere that looks different, bigger objects being picked up and lofted, and it shows it as a donut hole, basically. So that donut hole is debris in the atmosphere from a Doppler radar confirmed tornado here. It is off to the north and west of Echo in Dale County. A tornado warning is in effect with this cell. So there's the city of Ozark, there's Echo. This is over a rural part of Dale County. It is moving off to the east-northeast here, a very well-defined pocket of rotation. That S shape has really come together over the past 10 minutes. So this will carry into Henry County, pretty close to the Highway 27 corridor as we go through the next 20 minutes. And when cells like this get going, they usually stick around for a little while. These usually don't just spin down right away in a situation like this. So there's County Road, let's see here, 335, and that's the center pocket of rotation with this storm here. It is again a confirmed tornado. If we go back over to that correlation coefficient, that debris tracker, that is a pocket of debris showing up here in the atmosphere northwest of Echo in Dale County. So please, if you are in the path of this cell, look at that, a new scan coming in, and that's the same pocket of debris here just northwest of Echo, a Doppler radar confirmed tornado. So the eastern part of Dale County, you have to be someplace safe. Same goes for anyone in the path here into Henry County. Also, because the storm will carry into Henry County. There's the border right there between Dale and Henry County. So this will pass this area of rotation, this tornado, this Doppler radar confirmed tornado between Bells Crossroads and Echo, kind of a small area there in Dale County. Bells Crossroads and Echo, that rotation, that confirmed tornado will pass between those two small areas there, the small towns, if you will, in Dale County. So please, if you are in this area, if you know anyone in this area, give them a call over and over until they pick up the phone and tell them to go someplace safe. There is a confirmed tornado in Dale County here at 1:46 in the morning Saturday, moving off from the east-northeast, and that is debris in the atmosphere. So we have Doppler radar confirmation of this tornado by looking at that debris signature, which formed pretty much over Mapson, just to the north and east of Mapson. You see that hole appear? So that was the tornado forming, coming down, touching the ground, picking up debris, and now that debris is in the atmosphere, and it shows up as that hole in the radar, that hole which is just northwest of Echo, which is a confirmed tornado here, a very strong area of rotation with this cell. We're watching a few other areas also that are forming to the west and southwest of this area, back into Covington County as well. And the atmosphere will be conducive for some strong to severe storms over the next, say, 2 or 3 hours. And this one in particular is a confirmed tornado here in Dale County. So between Bells Crossroads and Echo, you want to get someplace safe. We have meteorologist Zach Webster here as well. Zach, we're watching the cell. It's just pretty incredible to see how quickly it's wrapped up. Looking at that rotation, this is just a look at the actual base velocity, and boy, that's a classic indication of a tornado.
Yeah, that really spun up in a hurry. I was watching it right as I woke up to get ready to come in here. You had a line of thunderstorms that was at the very least producing some fairly gusty winds, some damaging winds on the west side of Dothan, or to the west side of Ozark rather. Lightning pretty quickly picked up on this thing, and it did not take it very long to start rotating and producing this tornado that's now moving just to the north of Echo, very, very close to the radar site. I think that's a really I guess kind of good thing for us as meteorologists that's tracking this tornado, is it's so close to the radar site and we don't have a lot of contamination. We're also scanning really, really close to the ground, so we're both able to get a really good look at rotation there on the storm relative winds and the velocity. And we're also able to get a really good view of that debris ball that's on the debris tracker, and that rotation looks pretty good. It didn't look like so far we were going to see very many of these throughout the early portions of the morning. It looked like it was trying to transition more into a heavy rain threat, and then we got that pretty good ball of rotation picking up on radars. Just kind of goes to show what kind of atmosphere we're dealing with in the places that are along and south of that main band of rain that's just not getting all the heavy rain like places off to our north did.
Yeah, and that leading edge of that warm and humid air is being wrung out in the form of this heavy rainfall. So if you look at dew point readings, we have dew points in the 70s, areas south, areas north. There's not as much moisture in the atmosphere. So the leading edge of that warm and humid air coming in, kind of the nose of it, if you will, is producing all this heavy rainfall, and then that core of stronger winds in the atmosphere kind of shifting through this area is helping to produce that spin in the atmosphere. So you have warm and humid air, that's rising air, and then you have some spin in the atmosphere to start twisting that rising air, and you can get tornadoes to form. And that was what has happened here with this cell that moved on through Ozark, very quickly spun up into a confirmed tornado here just north of Echo. Thankfully, it is missing the radar site, if there's any good news, because we wouldn't have the data coming in. That is about as close as I've ever seen a tornado pass a radar site where I've been covering the storms. I mean, it's right there. So a very good view of the velocity. The outbound winds here showing up in pink, and then the inbound winds here showing up in light blue. So very, very strong rotation. Again, passing between Echo and Bells Crossroads. This is a rural part of Dale County. If you know anyone in this area, if you are in this area, you've got to get someplace safe, away from exterior walls and windows. Mobile homes, not the place to be. This is a very strong area of wind that will move on through the County Road 69 area. What is that road there? County Road, let me drop that map down and see if we can't get the road name on there. What is that? County Road 69. It is 69. All right. Let me clear out those last couple wind speeds that plotted on there. So County Road 69, and that's going to be passing pretty much about right now. What's this road here, Zach? Can you plot that road that breaks off there to the east? It looks like it'll be
27. State Road 27.
So State Road 27 and County Road 69, these are the areas being impacted by this Doppler radar confirmed tornado. Not just, hey, there's a pocket of rotation. There's debris showing up. So crossing County Road 69 now, just north of 27, you said, right? 27?
Yeah, that's State Road 27.
27. So right there is where the actual debris is at this point. So we'll get a new radar scan here for the velocity to come in, and it'll show that rotation somewhere in this area as it moves off to the east-northeast at a pretty good clip. And it's wrapped in rain, and that makes it, of course, it's dark outside, difficult to begin with. But the fact it's wrapped in rain makes it even more difficult to identify, because you can be somewhere in here in some heavy rainfall, and then all of a sudden the rain just picks up even more, and you've got the wind on top of all that rain coming on through. So make sure you are someplace safe in Dale County, the eastern part of Dale County, and the western part of Henry County, as this radar confirmed tornado continues moving off to the east-northeast, just south of Bell's Crossroads, just north and east now of Echo in Dale County. There's Highway 27, so it's at the intersection of County Road 69 and Highway 27, just to the northeast of Echo here at 1:52 in the morning. It is moving off to the east-northeast. That will carry into Henry County and likely stay just north of Highway 27 there in Henry County. So a rural part, again, of Henry County in the path of this cell. Not too far away, though, from the city of Abbeville. So on this track, now worst case scenario, you think about where it was here near Ozark when it was forming. It's on this track to the east-northeast. If we extrapolate that forward, it takes it into areas of Henry County, probably just south of Abbeville, looking, say, 20 minutes out. So that'd be about 2:10, 2:15 in that window. If this were to hold together, that pocket of rotation, that tornado could be somewhere crossing 431 around 2:10, 2:15 in the morning. A very strong area of rotation, a Doppler radar confirmed tornado with this cell, and we still have some debris showing up there on the Doppler radar. If we go back just a few scans, that hole that you see right here, that is debris in the atmosphere. That debris now is about to move into Henry County. It's not as distinct as it was, and we're going to look for any good news we can find, and that's because that rotation pocket maybe has weakened just a little bit compared to where it was when it maximized right here at 150 north of Echo. It maybe has weakened just a little bit. Trying to look for some good news, but Zach, you know as well as I do, these storms can cycle. Just because you don't see as much rotation or as much debris in the atmosphere, it could just be a lull and not the end of the storm.
Yeah, especially with this being along the leading edge of that line, there's nothing really to its south that can impede it all that much. We always, as far as supercells go, they like to be kind of out in the open air where they can get some good inflow into the storm, and that's how it's able to maintain its rotation and be able to maintain the tornado as well. As David mentioned, that rotation really kind of maximized there to the north of Echo. Pulled up some of the wind queries there as that rotation moved just to the north of the radar site, and some of those wind speeds, at least on the inbound winds, so toward the radar, some of those winds as high as 70, 75 miles per hour. And that's really, really close to the radar site. So as I mentioned last time, you're really, really close to the radar site, so you're getting a really, really good measurement of those winds with it being so close to the radar site. So we definitely had a tornado on the ground. We may still have a tornado on the ground now, just barely to the northeast of the radar site, and eventually this carries over toward the intersection of State Route 27 and Highway 431, looks like north of Caps and just to the south of Abbeville. Already had a confirmed tornado and just kind of looking at those winds very, very close to the radar side, it looks like we may have had a fairly half-decent tornado as well, with some of those winds within the storm reaching as high as 70 miles per hour at the very least on those inbound winds.
Yeah, you hate to estimate the wind speeds or the tornado strength from the wind data, but I mean, you look at a storm like that and you think, EF1 certainly a possibility with winds like that, and there's still some debris in the atmosphere. So although the rotation has weakened a little bit, this is likely still an ongoing tornado. This is debris, and there's that new scan coming in. So debris signature here into Henry County, just north of Highway 27. Early here this Saturday morning. You want to be someplace safe. If you are in Henry County, just north of Highway 27, we're looking off to the west, southwest of Abbeville, and that storm is moving to the east northeast. So the center of this tornado, this Doppler radar confirmed ongoing tornado, is moving towards Abbeville. Looking at about 210 to 215 in that window for that storm, that area of rotation to come on through Abbeville or just south of Abbeville. So if you are in that area, make sure anyone that is in that area is awake and go someplace safe. Wake the kids up, wake everybody up. I know it's the middle of the night, but you want to get everyone downstairs, the lowest part of that structure that you're in, the interior most closet or hallway, whatever you have in your house or your home. Get to that lowest level, interior most part of that structure, away from exterior walls and windows. If you are in the immediate path of this tornado, this ongoing tornado with debris still being lofted up into the air, you've got to get there right now. If you are north of Highway 27 in Henry County, off to the west-southwest of Abbeville, this is a Doppler radar confirmed tornado in a rural part here of Henry County. So we don't have a lot of homes in the path, but we have some homes in the path. And if you know someone or you are the one in the path of this storm, please get someplace safe. The best you can do is away from exterior walls and windows, the lowest part of that building that you are in. We are getting new scans in every minute or so from the Doppler radar, and all the scans confirm that this rotation pocket is ongoing. A very strong look at look here to the very strong outbound winds here. If we look at the pure base velocity, and this even if there's if there were no tornado, just a straight line of winds from the circulation on the south side would be enough to produce some significant damage. But we know from our debris tracker that there's been some rotation and some debris lofted at times from that rotation. If I go back here just a few scans, now that debris from this view to this view is not quite as distinct, which is, again, a little good news. That circulation is wavering a little bit. So these will come and go. Sometimes they'll get really strong. Sometimes that circulation will weaken a little bit and the storm will reorganize, and then all of a sudden that circulation tightens up again, which is basically like the funnel cloud coming down. You've got a tornado if it's touching the ground, and then it does some damage, then it kind of lifts back up and it's organizing up there in the sky. So you've got rotation, but you don't have a tornado. Then all of a sudden it draws in more warm and humid air. The ingredients really come back together again, and that funnel cloud is dropping back down on the earth, and you've got a tornado again. So even though the rotation is a little bit weaker here, there is still distinct rotation in the atmosphere. So even though it may kind of be wavering a little bit, it may not be done. So I would treat this as an ongoing tornado, although there is some good news that debris tracker product is not showing that distinct debris hole that we had earlier about 15-20 minutes ago. But there's still very strong rotation with the cell, and the path is pretty much right towards the south side of Abbeville. So it passed here north of Echo. It's on that east-northeast track, and we carry that to the east-northeast, and it passes somewhere just south of Abbeville, crossing 431 here, probably in the next 7 to 8 minutes or so. But Zach, watching this, watching it form, and now watching it kind of give up the fight a little bit is encouraging, but we're not out of the woods with the circulation with this cell.
Yeah, the rotation definitely not looking as as organized as what we were looking at probably about 10 minutes ago or so, but there's still some rotation there. We're starting to lose a little bit more of a well-defined debris ball as well on correlation coefficient. It's a pretty good sign that we may not necessarily be dealing with a tornado on the ground at this very moment, but again, with this being on the leading edge of that line of storms, it would not take it very long to have the potential to spin back up fairly quickly later on, and we're continuing to watch radar. Again, not really seeing much on correlation coefficient on our debris tracker that we really have much of a tornado on the ground, but these can be very cyclical where you have a tornado that touches down, it briefly lifts back up.
Hey, just your view there on Max 1. You're on Max 1. Max 1 is active, so move your view so you can kind of, there you go.
So that rotation not looking anywhere at least as organized as what we were looking at probably about 10 minutes or so ago. But again, with this being with the environment that it's in, it's certainly likely that we could see this spin back up and potentially produce another tornado farther down the line, closer to around where State Route 27 and Highway 431 meet. Again, that's just to the north of Capps. Abbeville is off toward the north. You are included in this tornado warning. Eventually, this moves even farther off toward the east, places like County Road 99 just to the south of Abbeville. So again, not looking quite as organized now. There's a look at the debris tracker, not seeing anything that really sticks out at me that would say that we have a tornado on the ground right now producing damage, but kind of with the environment that we have in place right now across the Wiregrass, particularly along the leading edge of that line, David, it would not take very much to get this to spin back up and potentially produce another tornado farther down the line.
Yeah, that rotation is still very much intact. Now, if we look at the reflectivity view, there's a little more rain out ahead of the cell compared to earlier when this was forming. When this formed, it was kind of out on its own. I'll take you back when that started to come together. This was a cell that was approaching Ozark with straight line winds, and then the tornado formed about right here. So it had an area of rain-free air ahead of it. And since then, there's been a little more shower activity developing ahead of that storm. So that has choked off the inflow a little bit. We still have that circulation evident, though, if we look at the velocity view. So we can't write off this storm completely. Once a storm like this gets organized, even if there's some rain contamination out ahead of it, it can still maintain that circulation because there's still a warm and humid flow in from the Gulf of Mexico, and we've got that core of stronger winds aloft coming through also. So there's still rotation showing up here, not too far to the northwest of Capps, a couple miles northwest of Capps, and pretty close to the Highway 27 corridor here off to the west and southwest of Abbeville. So the center of this rotation, these are outbound winds here in red, these are inbound in green. The center of this rotation will be crossing 431 in about 4 or 5 minutes, and that will take it then into the area just south of Abbeville sometime around 2:10 or so. We're at 2:04 at this point. So 5, 6, 7 minutes from now, it passes somewhere just south of Abbeville. I'm also watching some of the other cells that are coming together, areas to the west. So you look at one cell there, that's by Newton. This is in an environment that's got some pretty good inflow in from the south and from the southeast. So we're watching this cell. This is one that is in an area that could try to organize a bit more here. And one thing we look for is an uptick in lightning. Usually there's an uptick in lightning before you get the strong winds to form and the circulation to form. We saw that with that cell that has produced that tornado in Dale County. If we go back just a little bit, when that was approaching the city of Ozark, all of a sudden there was a lot of lightning that started to form with that cell. So that was a lot of rising air motion that was able to tap into the wind shear in the atmosphere, and that helped to produce that spin-up tornado that came on through parts of Dale County into Henry County. The lightning with that cell has dropped, which is some good news. So we look at other cells, and are we seeing an uptick in lightning anywhere else with these cells that are forming in that warm and humid air that is coming in from the Gulf? And nothing that really stands out, which is some good news. And maybe this is just a one and done type of early morning where we get one storm that briefly produces a tornado and then we're done with this event. But that's maybe wishful thinking. So we can hope for that, but we've got to look at reality as well. And the reality is We've had one storm already produce a tornado, and we've got other cells here moving in from the west and from the southwest that will have that potential over the next couple hours. Really, we're at 2:05 at this point, and between now and about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, we've got that chance for some more isolated tornadoes and pockets of gusty winds. So one tornado in the books, one Doppler radar confirmed tornado has formed from this cell. That cell is weakening as it moves on through Henry County. There's still a tornado warning in effect for Henry County, but this pocket of rotation is not producing a tornado at this point, and it is starting to weaken, and we'll hope that continues to weaken as it moves to areas just south of Abbeville. There's a lot more rain involved now, so this cell that was so robust is now moving into an environment that's not quite as favorable for ongoing organizations. So we'll keep monitoring the trends with this tornado warning cell. And if I go back here, if you're just tuning in, when this was forming, we were watching this cell with a severe thunderstorm warning coming out through Ozark with a batch of very strong straight line winds just east of Ozark. It started to take on that S shape. We look for that, and then there was a little core. There was a little core of a wind there that started to emerge from that straight line wind event, and that helped to increase the inflow, and that produced that tornado. So that was a tornado at that point. That was at 144 just north and northwest of Echo. Still a tornado north of Echo. That's probably when it peaked out right there, and it carried some debris into Henry County right there. Still a tornado. And then it started to weaken, and that weakening trend has continued over the past 4 or 5 minutes, and that is certainly some good news. It looks like the storm has maxed out and now is back on the way down. We will continue to monitor it, though. This tornado warning will be allowed to expire given the current state of this cell. So some rotation still evident here between Abbeville and Caps, but this is not rotation strong enough to produce a tornado. We can confirm that by going over to our correlation coefficient, our debris tracker, and you're not seeing that distinct hole showing up anymore. No more debris showing up here in the atmosphere, which is what we want to see. Just kind of raindrops, and that's it from this cell. But again, still some rotation as we look at the storm relative velocity. We've got two different radar views here with velocity. This one shows some strong winds. So even though the strong rotation has weakened, there is still a core of pretty strong winds here from Highway 27 southward along 431 here that will pass south of Abbeville. And the winds here, the straight line winds pushing from west or west southwest to east northeast, may gust over 40 to 50 miles per hour. Even though that rotation area has weakened, there's still some straight line wind to go along with this cell. So definitely some good news here as we watch that cell track into the central part of Henry County. I'll switch back over to the storm relative velocity, and let me animate this. We use this product a lot for identifying pockets of rotation. One there, obviously, that pass by Echo was a significant area of rotation. We're watching this demarcation line right in through here. You can kind of see from really where this cell is into the far southern part of Dale County, and then into Coffee County, and then back into Geneva County. You kind of see that wind shift line. That may be the focus for another strong storm or two over the next 2 or 3 hours as it continues very gradually moving its way to the east and dropping its way to the south and southeast. A lot of warm and humid air coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. You can actually make it out by looking at some of the returns. They're very quickly moving off to the northeast. So that's the wind energy in the atmosphere. We've got the warmth and humidity coming in also. And we'll watch this boundary and see if it kind of reignites at some point in the Wiregrass. That tornado warning has been allowed to expire as that rotation area has weakened up there by Abbeville. But there is still some very strong wind energy in the atmosphere that will pass to the south of Abbeville and carry some winds in excess of 40 to 50 miles per hour areas south of Abbeville and probably pretty close to Shorterville, probably just south of Highway 10 in Henry County. Strong winds there, south of Abbeville, south of 27, south of 10 there, pushing towards Shorterville. But that pocket of rotation that prompted that tornado warning has weakened. So a severe thunderstorm warning in effect and no more tornado warnings in the Wiregrass. All right, big view reset here as we look at the Doppler radar early this Saturday morning. Still some showers and some thunderstorms coming on through parts of Coffee County towards Enterprise, southward to Geneva, some decent rainfall. Echo still looking at some very heavy rainfall. And these areas that are seeing training of these cells can pick up 2-3 inches in an hour. So factor that into parts of Henry County and Dale County. You may notice the radar returns look a little bit weaker, and that's from attenuation. The fact that the radar right here in Echo is being hammered by some really heavy rainfall. So all those raindrops are absorbing some of that energy coming out of the radar. So it makes it look like, oh, all the storms are weakening a little bit. Not necessarily the case. Just the energy is being sucked up by a lot of those raindrops around the radar site at this point. These storms still packing a punch. You can tell by all the lightning strikes coming out through Coffee County and some lightning here and there in Geneva County. Not a lot of lightning in that area, which is good. But these storms may try to organize a bit more here going over the next couple hours. We'll keep watching the other pockets of strong winds that will be forming here and there as we go through time. But to kind of wrap this up for now, that area of rotation that prompted that tornado warning in Dale County that moved into Henry County has weakened down to some gusty winds. No longer a tornado threat, but some gusty winds there passing south of Abbeville and moving towards Shorterville. Winds here may gust over 40 to maybe even 50 miles per hour, but not as bad as it was looking back about 30 to 40 minutes or so. I think we'll go back to regular programming. Zach, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, one more thing. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a tornado watch for portions of the Wiregrass. That's Coffee, Dale, Henry, Geneva, and Houston County in Alabama. So that includes places like Dothan, Okaloosa, Walton, Holmes, Washington, and Jackson County in Florida, and early Clay and Seminole counties in Georgia. So we now have that tornado watch in effect out across the southeastern corner of the region until 10 o'clock. So we had the one tornado warning there for Dale and Henry County, and now we have that tornado watch in effect. So we're going to be watching to begin with, but now we'll especially be watching with that tornado watch now being issued.
Yeah, that's a big one too, and that covers a lot of the Wiregrass. Basically from where that boundary is and points south, where that warm and humid flow in from the Gulf of Mexico will continue, and we've got that pocket of winds above moving across this area. So we'll be watching all these cells for more signs of rotation, the chance for some gusty winds, as well as we go into the morning hours here on Saturday. So that's it for now. We'll have more updates as needed coming up right here on WTVY News 4.
This has been a forewarned weather alert.